Hey everybody, it's Mike Copera with podcastcondition.com, bringing you episode 104 of What You Drinking. I'm gonna rely on my castmates here to do majority of the talking tonight because I this is the most I've had a voice all week. But we are here with Dan and Mike. How are you guys doing?
Doing better. Doing actually pretty good. Thanks. I'm
Good.
sorry you're not.
Looks like Mike's on the old porch outside. Are you?
Yeah, it's another nice night here in Wayland, Mass.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Finally, a break from the heat. It's been pretty unbearable in terms of heat and humidity lately. But we had some big storms roll through yesterday, and so today was a little better. And once the sun went down tonight, it's very comfortable. So it's good night to be having a beer on the porch.
Nice. So we're doing Goses tonight. Are you guys? Were you guys able to acquire one?
Oh yeah. Actually, I've had one for a while. And I just took the label off. I didn't even realize it, but it's like I can't display the label now. Actually, yeah, I can. It's here's the label. So you might recognize this, Mike.
Mars.
Yeah. I've got it upside down. It's Ruby's Tears.
Oh, okay. I just read about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they've had it out for a while now because I got this literally about a month ago, and it's just been sitting in the fridge, waiting for the right time. And then the show came up, and I was like, "This is the right time." And it's a beautiful sort of orangish color, and nice. It had some nice. It still has some nice lacing. It had a good finger and a half, 2 fingers of foam, and it's got the classic. It's tart, a little bit sour it's north of tart and a little bit more sour, and they get that little salty tang at the end on the finish, and then that sort of wheat body in the beer is really tasty, especially on a day like this. It's just a great summer beer.
Nice. I think I just saw them post on Facebook either today or yesterday. They were making they were using that beer to make slushies. So
Oh really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Oh wow.
So it was an interesting little. It was like a small little video of like clips of them making it and then drinking it. That's cool. How about you, Mike? What you got there?
So I went to the store looking for something that was labeled a Gose, but came up empty. And not surprisingly, because you don't see them too often, and my stores around here, at least the ones closest to me, don't have a huge selection. So I wasn't shocked I didn't find anything, but I thought there would have been something around. That said, I did find a couple interesting beers that I ended up buying anyway, which we can get into later. But tonight I am drinking what I had, which actually is not that far off in terms of the style. I think I have the Jack's Abbey Berliner style lager.
Huh.
And it is a sour wheat lager. So we're getting close.
I think we had that one when you took me there. I think we had that one. I loved it.
Yeah, I can't remember if we did or not, but it's delicious. It's fantastic. It's got good color. It had a good head on it when I poured it. It's let me read the description on the bottle because it does a better job than I would do. It says, "Our ode to summer. By implementing a sour mash procedure in our kettle, an intense lactic sour character emerges. The beer is then fermented with our lager yeast, finishes fruity, citrusy, dry, and quite tart." It's 3.5%, so very low. But it is delicious. It's a great summer beer, that's for sure.
Nice. They got another location now, don't they?
It's in the works.
Oh, okay.
Not open yet, but I think they're getting close. Last time I checked.
I've been seeing a lot of beer reviews for those guys all over YouTube. A lot of people getting their beers, and usually pretty good reviews. So I love that place.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. They do a lot of, and it's all, I think we said this before, it's all lagers and variations of lagers, and the other option for tonight was a lager wine that I have in the fridge that I've been it's about nine it's been about 9 months since I got it, and I almost went for it tonight, but then I decided to let it sit for a while longer and go with Berliner style lager instead.
Nice. God, I didn't even know they made lager style wines, except for like I would guess the closest would be like the ice box, because those are real high gravity from kind of freezing out the water. But have you had that one before?
No, I had it. I saw it. Actually, I think I got it from the brewery last time I visited. It was in the fall. I think it was like September, October last year. And they said they only had a few bottles left of the lager wine they had, and so I grabbed a bottle, and they aged it themselves. I think they said about a year, but I figured it'd be a good one to cellar and let it sit for a while. So
Sure.
We'll sit on it for another few months at least, and I'll report back.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, I've got a nice bitter black tea in my shorts mug, but I am about to finish this, so I think I'm gonna chance this. And what's nice about this beer is because I'm currently having to limit the intake of my beer these days because of the possibility of having to drive to the hospital at any moment at this point. This is a 4.2% Gose. It's from Perennial Artisan Ales.
Yep.
Called Suburban Beverage. I have never had or seen this one before, and I always look at Perennial because they just have some of the best beers that I've ever had. So their barley wine, by the way, is amazing, Dan. If you can get your hands on that one, it's pretty readily available, but it's so good. It's like
nice.
A little more on the expensive side, just a little over the $10 threshold. I think it's like 12, 13, 14. But man, the barley wine's good. But this is a Suburban Beverage is a Gose style ale brewed with salt, orange peel, lemon peel, and key lime juice. Tart and refreshing. It will certainly make you feel all right. So I think I'm going to open this since it is so low in ABV, and I haven't had a beer since last Monday.
Oh wow! There you go.
This thing really knocked you back, huh?
It did, man. It was bad. And I just didn't. I just wanted to get rid of it because I can't be sick when there's a baby, on their way. So I'm like, and the thing is, I'm better now. It's just this lingering cough is the only thing I can't seem to kick. But I'm no longer sick, so I'm going for it. We're gonna see how this is.
Maybe it'll help.
Yeah, the alcohol.
That's right.
Kill it, right? Yeah. And the salt, I've been gargling salt all week, so
yeah, there you go.
There's salt in this one. That'll help my throat.
That's
virtually
practically a health drink.
It's any of the carbonation on the top just disappeared. It smells like this is going to be a bit sour. And it's got like real bready, malty smell to it too. But there's a lot of citrus, like the lime. I can smell that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn, that's good. The what does that say? Yeah, key lime juice. I knew it tasted a little bit like key lime. Excuse me. This is really good. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by everything Perennials I've ever had from them. They're really good.
Nice.
But it's very dry. The salt is, it does the job there. But yeah, it's not very clear at all. It's very cloudy. Just pretty much straw yellow. Good stuff. So what's new with you guys? Dan, you're always doing home brews. It sounds like you've been brewing quite often, actually.
Yeah, I've actually lined up another.
We lost your sound.
I know, sorry. But what's really kind of slamming me right now is that I'm sort of running the trip for the club to the Great Taste of the Midwest this coming Saturday up in Madison, Wisconsin. It's huge. Actually, it's the second oldest. I didn't realize this until I was reading up on it, but it's the second oldest craft beer festival in the country, and it has 150 breweries and 1,000 different beers to choose from. I mean, it's just massive. I don't think I've ever been to one that big before. So it sounds like it's like basically one step away from being a GABF sort of deal, which could be, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But the killer of it is that that's this Saturday. Next Saturday, after that, our club is having its homebrew competition, which is the brew off, and so I've been doing a lot of crap for that too, and I'll be stewarding at that. So not only am I organizing this huge Great Taste of the Midwest thing, but then I've also got this huge brew-off thing that I've got stuff to do, and the brew-off thing is kind of blowing up a little bit because it's the first time we've done it, so it's just like, and I think that's why I've been brewing more frequently now, is because it's more therapeutic. It's something I have some control over. Yeah. So, and even then, it kind of backfired on me this time because I got my settings in Beersmith wrong on the first batch that I did. So I'm basically doing that batch over again a second time around because I finally figured out what the settings issue was. And so my 10th batch of beer ended up being sort of a watershed in that it failed miserably, but it succeeded brilliantly in finally getting everything right. So in terms of how I work in the brewery.
Equipment profiles are everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know why. How you doing, Skylar, by the way?
Nice what's up, Skylar? How you doing?
I'm home.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for joining.
Mm-hmm.
What beer are you drinking there? That one of your
I'm
own?
drinking a Galveston Bay Beer Company Texas City Porter.
Oh, there you go.
Looks good.
Solid.
So since we were just talking about home brewing, have you guys ever heard of, you ever hear of Blue Apron? They advertise on a lot of podcasts and stuff usually.
No, not personally.
It's so it's a service that for like cooking, they, instead of having to like go out shopping for all the different ingredients and then having like extra portions of all those ingredients, what this website does, or not website, but like web service, they allow you to pick whatever dish you want to make, and then they mail you all of the ingredients in the exact proportion of all the ingredients, and you put it all together exactly as the instructions are, and it's supposedly like a perfect way to make like the perfect meal for one or two or whatever. Mm-hmm. So there's a new service now just like it for home brewing, which is quite interesting. It's by a company called KitLab, and so what's cool?
And I am familiar with them because they just had a big Kickstarter recently to get that off the ground.
Yep. Yeah, that's what the story is here, is about their Kickstarter campaign. So I guess what's a nice little twist about this is, though, as a home brewer, you can post your own recipes up there, and if somebody buys it through that service, you get like $5.
Right.
So if you put a good recipe up there and it becomes popular, you make money just by just putting your stuff up there. So
yeah,
we got a couple brewers on the show, so I mean, if you guys are looking for side money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You gotta. Those are wonderful services, but they're kind of like beer blogging in a different sense, and that is the sense of sort of like, instead of blogging, words about beer, you're actually basically putting out a recipe there and then hoping that people will give it hits. And I just see so many people putting recipes up there that you would better start marketing the snot out of it if you put it up there and you want to have any hope of getting money from it. Because there's just going to be so many recipes, and everybody's going to be like, I don't know this guy. It's just a recipe.
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a joke of me saying that, but I think it's a good idea just to have a, like a good, especially for beginner homebrewers, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't, maybe there's an ingredient that's not really available in your area or something like that. It's a cool way of just getting everything you need to get the beer that sounds good to you. So
right.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool idea that a lot of a lot of like cooks would kind of put their nose up to the services like the Blue Apron, but it's for like the home cooks. They're like, this is great.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same way with the home brewers. All the the veterans are like, this is stupid, and all the newbies.
Stupid.
No,
Actually,
it's cool.
No, actually, and to a certain extent, it makes a lot of sense given the ingredient environment that we find ourselves in, and I'll tell you why. That capacity to get exactly what you want and not have any leftovers is going to make a lot of economic sense, and actually maybe producer sense on the hop side at least in the near future, because we're looking at potential hop shortages from England and from the Pacific Northwest. The Yakima Valley is seeing a lot of drought conditions this year. So there was just a recent article, and I think NBC News ran it, where it's sort of like your IPAs are in danger, or something like that. And I mean, there's something to it in the sense that there are several hop strains that are not very tolerant of getting their water cut off. And they're getting some severe water restrictions in the Yakima Valley right now. And I guess that in England, for whatever reason, there's similar issues, or at least issues that are affecting their hop harvest similarly. Because I was just in the homebrew shop, and the guy I always talk to there is like, yeah, I have never seen Kent or East Kent Goldings at this price point before. I mean, they've just like doubled in price. Mm-hmm. So if you can narrow down the amount of hops you buy, so you don't have to spend a whole bunch up front, and you don't have a whole lot left over that might just never get used, that's not a bad thing. I mean, that makes a lot of economic sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, with hops, especially if you're a hop producer, when I was at that live podcast of Good Beer Hunting with, they had Kevin Lemp from Four Hands Brewing out of St. Louis. And he was talking about how, well, they were both talking about how just the fact that, hop strains that are popular now, in 5 years from now, like there's going to be all new hops. There's going to be, anything could happen to the crops that are out there now. So that's why a lot of breweries are going towards styles that aren't really that hop forward, and they're going for the the session IPAs now, and all the other styles are starting to kind of be pushed a little bit more, so that you can use more ingredients other than just the hops to bring out those bittering flavors.
Right.
It's an interesting situation. It's a weird, and it's also, it's a good time to be a hop farmer, but also at the same time, it takes so long to get started. I think you've got to have like five runs of your crops before you really get a good yield, and you're getting proper produce being put out there, if you want to call it produce.
Oh, well, it is. I mean, but it's kind of a double-edged sword too, because if you're in an established region that's getting slammed like the Pacific Northwest is now, you're not doing great either. Because you've got everything in place, and everything is mature vine, or mature vine as far as the hops or the hop plants go, but as far as having the capacity to get the water to the plants to generate the hops, that you've got big problems. Whereas in like a Michigan or a New York, which seem to be the big regions that are developing right now, those guys both have plenty of water, and if it's not raining, you've got big lakes to do it. So, because
at one point New York used to be one of the higher production areas of hops for a while before Prohibition.
Hop melt before Prohibition.
Yep, absolutely. That's absolutely true. Well, I mean, now, Skylar, as far as like on the pro end, do you kind of hang out with other, at least Texas brewers, and go over the environment of where the contracts are going to be next year as far as the hops go and everything, and what are you guys looking at right now?
Oh yeah, us being in Texas, we don't exactly get local hops. Although there is this one crazy bastard I've been talking about who's starting a hop farm here in Texas, and
awesome.
He's actually seeing some success. But like you said, it takes a good 5 or 6 years of growth to see a significant harvest of hops. And even then, with new strains of hops taking 11 years to develop, it's not a fast industry. However, it's an industry that is not doing well. They're doing incredible. It is a good time to be a hop farmer right now, despite any problems with hop production, because whether you're producing the hops or not, you're getting even more demand. There is no bad part of the hop business to be in. I am seeing though an issue with availability and price. That's certainly causing an issue, but I see it as exciting. I see it as a challenge, because when you think about how hop style or how beer styles are developed and how brewers use beer, beer has always been the most adaptable thing. All beer styles have just adapted to what's going on in history at the time. So we've had this abundance of hops. I actually see a lot of good coming out of this. I want to see more brewers making styles where they can't hide behind their hops.
Exactly.
Because a lot of American brewers do tend to overhop their beers, and they can hide imperfections among that. And it's just my style. I'm a hop head myself, but my brewing style is actually more of an English style of brewing, where I make really balanced beers, and I don't use a ton of hops. But I'm kind of excited to see where it leads people. Yeah, it kind of sucks that hops are getting more expensive, especially certain varieties that you need for certain established brands. That hurts, that hurts a lot of breweries. But at the same time, it's like, we can adapt. It's beer. Yeah, it's not the world is ending like a lot of people are in the industry are saying.
Well, Galveston Bay is fairly newish, right? It's like how long you guys been going now?
Almost a year in November.
How much more difficult is it as a new brewery to become associated with or have some sort of a relationship with, like, the hop producers and the hop distributors?
I would say a large portion of breweries in the U.S. are currently going through Hop Union as their provider. There are a lot of local options, especially for those in the northern states and places like Colorado and all that, but got these large conglomerate of hop farmers that you go through, and you basically say, okay, we promise to buy this much of this type of hop, and the hop growers will set aside that much land to grow that much hops, guaranteeing that they will sell it. It's, like I said, it's a good time to be a hop farmer. But it certainly is difficult to get some of the newer, more exciting hops. There are a lot of breweries that are like, we want it all. And then there's the secondary market where you buy too much, and then, those breweries are selling off the extra that they have. Hell, we've done that. But there is that sort of camaraderie between craft brewers to where it's a fair market, and a lot of the local breweries are willing to help each other out. If, say, a brewery down the street has a shortage of this type of hop that we have, I don't mind, selling them the extra that we have. It gets like that. It's already like that in the brewing world. Is if you need a hop, you better have some relationships with other brewers around that might be able to help you. So yeah, hop shortage is no joke, but at the same time, you can get creative with it.
Nice. So how's the new area that you're in? Because you live a little bit closer now to the brewery itself, correct?
Yeah, I live on the coast, San Leon, Texas. It's nice. Things have been getting really crazy at work, just because more people are knowing about us. We intentionally didn't advertise knowing that we didn't want to be overwhelmed. But as word of mouth typically does, we're getting more and more business. We must have kicked 8 or 9 kegs in the tap room this weekend, which is a lot for us. So I'm just trying to keep up throughout the week, brewing small batches and brewing large batches, and sometimes both at the same time. And I've been very sick the past month, so I've been dealing with that and trying to keep up. Startups, bro.
Have you been in contact with Zach at all in Colorado about how his?
I haven't actually talked to Zach in longer than I'd like to. But I was actually planning on reaching out to him very, very soon. Especially now that I'm back in action, I'm feeling a lot better now. So now I've got a million messages and posts and emails and things to respond to that I got to deal with. But yeah, I'll get around to that, and I'm looking forward to my next trip to Colorado. Actually, I don't know when that will be, but I want it to happen soon.
Yeah, Dan, weren't you trying to get GABF tickets this year, or did you ever make that happen?
No, I wasn't really trying. I was considering going, but it was one of those pipe dream sort of things. I think next year would be a better one because I've been to enough festivals this year that at a certain point you've got to say, how many times can you go to a fest before the goodwill between you and your spouse begins to break down? And I mean, and that's not a cheap ticket. I mean, that's a fest that you go to once every 5 years, or you're a brewery, and that's why you go every year.
And it's not just a day; it's a whole weekend, and it's a hotel, and it's a flight, and it's in the festival for a couple days. It's awesome. I won't lie. It's amazing, but it's a whole weekend. You're not gonna. It's not like your regular fest where you're just going for a day. So I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Mike? Anything going on in your area this summer, or anything you going to?
No, nothing I'm going to. I mentioned earlier that I saw a couple interesting beers at the store when I went looking for a Gose. Happy to report that they had several bottles of the Woot Stout.
Nice.
I know.
I got 2.
Yeah, I know. A couple of weeks ago, you guys were talking about it, and I was saying how I'd never seen it out here, and that I was going to keep an eye out for it. Well, it made it here, so I picked up 2 bottles of it, so I'm excited about that. Also, they had a collaboration beer that I've heard a lot about. It's between Jack's Abbey and a brewery called Otter Creek. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Two New England breweries, but I think it's the first collaboration that Jack's Abbey has done, and Otter Creek is a pretty solid brewery in its own right. So they made a beer called Joint Custody, and they've been talking it up a lot on Twitter and whatnot, and I figured, yeah, if I get to the brewery, maybe I'll be able to pick up some of it, but I didn't anticipate seeing it at the store. Well, there it was. They had it in cans, 6-pack of cans of Joint Custody, so I grabbed that too. So even though there was no Gose to be seen, it was still a good trip to the store.
Nice.
Hey.
I for some reason I've heard of that beer, that Joint Custody. I can't remember where I've seen. Maybe it was on Instagram. Somebody posted it.
They've been talking. Both breweries have been talking it up quite a bit. So yeah, I'm not surprised. But neither brewery is very big either. So it's pretty good that you heard about it.
Nice. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How about you guys?
All right.
Good.
I was telling Mike I guess it was last week. I had my Gose and I settled down. I cracked it open, poured it, and logged on, and nothing. And I finally saw the message. It was like, oh, no show. It's like, oh, I already poured it.
So did you have a couple left over from that 6-pack?
I did. Fortunately, I had a 6-pack. So this is the troublesome by Off Color Brewing.
Oh yeah.
I think that's here in the Chicago area.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are.
But it's not an easy style to find, and it's not one I've purchased before. So I didn't have like an idea. Like sometimes I go to the store and think I can get one or two of these. This one I had no clue.
Yeah, and I've actually heard some people credit Off Color for being one of the first breweries to bring back this style, because it was.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was kind of a dead style, and they were one of the first to do it, and now they're
Westbrook.
What's that?
I've always heard that Westbrook was the one that bring it back.
Westbrook.
That is interesting. I can't wait to see how the book is written on how Gose.
I know. Isn't it so funny how everybody wants to take credit for it?
One thing is that I'm going to say right now, here on Podcast Conditioned, we're claiming Gose as a Texan style.
What?
Let me explain, all right?
Who's invented it?
Gose is. We're reclaiming it. Like it's not original Texan, but it is the perfect Texas beer. I've had
now that I might agree with.
I've had more than
the
20
rebirthplace of the Gose.
just from Texas breweries, and it seems like at this point every Texas brewery that I know is making a Gose, including me. We came out we came out with our Gose right off the bat. That was one of the first things I wanted to do, and it's our most popular selling beer, Duck Duck Gose, and it's a Texan style to me.
I still think you should have called that the salty tart. I mean, that is the ultimate Gose.
Still on my list.
That's a great name.
There's so many good Gose names. Like it's such a cool new style, and everyone has their same interpretation. I will say, of every single Gose I've ever had here in Texas, not a single one of them tastes alike. They're all completely different. There's not one that tastes even similar to the next.
Yeah, I'll say the one I'm having now is probably one of the best I've had. It's really good. Got like
what's that one?
It's got this is from Perennial Artisan Ales. It's the suburban beverage. It's called. It's brewed with salt, orange peel, lemon peel, and key lime juice. It's really, I mean, the key lime it's really putting it over the top. It's really, really good.
And for reference, Perennial is a Chicago brewery, actually, which is interesting because mine was a Chicago. That's Mars Brewing as a Chicago brewery, and you've got Off Color. That's a Chicago brewery. Chicago's doing a lot of that too. It's been big here.
I've heard someone said that they should do Gose Canseco. That's funny. I didn't realize that many breweries are doing it now. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah, it's become really big. I mean, I don't know, how big it's getting other places, but I just everyone that comes in, it seems like it's just perfect for the freaking 110 degrees that we had today, and you're just sweating constantly, and you need something just with that bite, that pucker that you normally get from, say, a fresh squeezed lemonade, but at the same time it's got alcohol and it's got flavor and it's got all this, and it's just a fantastic style, and it's becoming one of my favorites.
Are they typically low ABV? Because mine's very low. I didn't know if that was just...
I would say traditionally, I think historically Gose has always been around 2 or 3%. Of course, in Texas, it's illegal for a brewery to brew below 4.5%, or else it's a whole other thing. But that's another story for another time. So I bring mine down to the lowest I can do, which is 4.5% ABV.
So in Texas, you can't go below a certain ABV? It's like you guys are just making a joke of the everything's bigger in Texas kind of thing. It's like
the opposite.
There are states that are like, you can't go too high in Texas. Like, you can't go lower than this. That's hilarious.
Jeez. The opposite of Utah.
There are ways around it. If you've ever had a Jester King Le Petit Prince, that's something like 2-point-something%. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are ways around it. We just don't have the licensing for it.
So this one here,
gotcha.
this is so good that this is illegal in Texas, right here. I would probably get arrested, thrown out of the state,
And shot on sight.
yeah.
Exactly.
And then hung.
Exactly.
4-3, you're out.
What are,
That's awesome. So Kevin, what's new with you, man? Have you been to any breweries or? Cause Salamoth just had an event not too long ago. I thought I read.
Mhm.
You know, I wasn't there for an event. I was there a couple weeks ago.
Oh
though.
no, actually that event's tomorrow. But yeah, go ahead.
What is tomorrow? That I did read about something there.
Yeah,
They
I want to
have
say the 6th is tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I want to say
They're
they're
having a
having
Thursday
free
event?
tasting. Yeah, they're having a free tasting event of some sort, I think.
No kidding. I didn't know that. I gotta
Go.
look that up. and head back on the way back from work.
Here, I'll look that up on my end. You go ahead and talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, cool. No, I was there. I was there a few weeks ago and had. Gosh, don't even remember. It was a. Oh, I know it was. It was I don't. It was like a Kolsch. That they said it was like a Kolsch, but it was black as a porter. So it had kind of a refreshing, Kolsch taste, but obviously it was dark and roasty at the same time. I have no idea what it was called. I don't remember. It was on our way home from a restaurant, but it was really good. It wasn't. I don't even know what to compare it to. I don't know if any of you had a beer like that was a crisp Kolsch but dark as night.
It's kind of like a Dortmunder or something.
Maybe I dreamt this. It doesn't exist. But it was pretty good. Now I'm looking it up to see.
You know what I did notice when I was shopping for this beer is, and it's a good thing in my eyes because I've been kind of leaning towards this vessel, but cans are like all over the place now. All the bombers, like I was looking for Pipeworks, which is usually, at one point I think there was probably 20 different beers, all in bombers at Binny's near where I work. All from Pipeworks, all different beers, and now I saw maybe like 3 or 4, and they're canning now too, so that has some reason behind that. But I think there's been a lot of bomber fatigue going on in at least the Chicagoland area. Are you guys that are outside of the Midwest? Are you guys seeing a change in that at all, or are you guys still seeing bombers on your end?
explain bomber fatigue.
I wish I could send you a picture of what a beer, like we have a large chain called Binny's here in Chicago, and it is like, it's ridiculous the amount of bombers that, it's just all bombers for at one point in time.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm tired of buying basically 2 beers for $10 when I can get a 6-pack for about the same amount of something. But I prefer the can. I think it's better for not only the environment, but it's lighter, it's easier to discard and recycle.
I gotta ask, because this is an issue that's going on in Texas right now, and I'd like to see how things are going up where you are in Chicago. Crowlers, is that a thing? Like, what?
Oh yeah.
I think only a few breweries in Chicago are doing it now. What was that, Kevin?
What was that word? I don't know.
Crowlers. Those are the cans.
It's a 32-ounce can.
Oh.
It's like a howler. It's the same amount as a howler, but it's.
I saw an ad for that once. I've never seen or heard of it in real life.
I know Break Room does it. I think the first one in Chicago was what's the one on Broadway?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Dry Hop.
Dry Hop. They were the first ones to do it in Chicago, and now there's a few others.
Oh, that's where I read about it. It was because Dry Hop had the machine that put the cap on. Whatever. I barely remember that. Okay.
This is still fairly new to you guys. This is like opposite, because growlers are new to Texas, and we really just we have a lot of bars that it's just suddenly like crowlers are the shit. Like everyone wants to do crowlers. And I guess you guys haven't heard about this, but it's become a thing to where our state alcohol board, what we call the TABC, has decided, and we fought really hard to get growlers legal. Like just we didn't even put in a law. They changed the language on a previous.
Because the growler is too small. They want it under 28 ounces.
You can't sell that little amount of beer.
So we're doing crowlers, and all these bars are doing crowlers now. And then they just suddenly said, that's repackaging beer, that's illegal. So there's this huge fucking civil war going on here in Texas about keeping the crowler, and we've never had so much public support for a beer law. The thing about Texas is a lot of the fucked up laws that we do have against alcohol is just the fact that people don't give a shit. You know, most people aren't even aware of the political process around the shit that they do from day to day, that they don't even go against anything that's being put into law. But now it's getting to the point to where beer is becoming a popular thing here. Real beer, not fake beer. And so public opinion is for small breweries. And, you know, the political process down here, I won't name parties, whatever, you know, Texas. You know, they're all for, oh, yeah, small business, yay. Except when it comes to politics, it's suddenly they're anti-small business because Anheuser-Busch is the one giving them money. So, yeah, that's a thing down here is we're having Crowlergate.
Wow.
That's what they're calling it, apparently.
Damn.
There's like a lot of places have like 30 days to shut down their crowler operations, but it's doing nothing but creating business for Texas. So I'm excited to see what happens, because that means instead of simply changing language on a previous law, they're going to have to rewrite that shit. And I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah.
That's my rant for today.
See, I like the growler for a brewery, like a tap room. If you want to take a good amount of a limited release beer.
By the way, just to make it clear, not to cut you off, but growlers are illegal in breweries in Texas.
That's crazy.
There's that. That. It pisses me off. People come to my brewery all the time saying, can I get a growler? According to Texas state law, no, you cannot. You have to go to a brew pub or a bar that does not sell liquor to get a growler. Fucking ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I would say that as I was pouring them a crowler. Or as like a howler, you know. It's like, it's only half the size, man. You know, this is too small for Texas to worry about, so we're good.
Right.
Here you go.
Wow.
That's crazy. But yeah, I was just saying we are seeing a lot of more cans. I've been noticing lately. So I was just.
I think that's true here too. I mean, it's not like it's
the can.
not happening. It's not happening overnight, but you know, from now compared to like a year ago, there's definitely more options in terms of cans, and I would agree too that it seems that the bomber has gone out of style a little bit. There's still a lot of them, but it seems that beers are just being more and more packaged in either smaller bottles or cans.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what's killing that? I actually have the answer, or this is why bomber fatigue has happened, and that is because bombers have traditionally been filled with beers that are like 9-10% above or above ABV wise. You know, I mean, there are plenty that aren't, but really that's sort of like if you're talking about a special release, that format is usually large format bottles, bombers, or bigger. You know, sometimes you'll get the magnums or like the 750 milliliter bottles, but we're seeing a regression with Goose Island in a good way that is smart, because it's looking at that and going, how many people are going to get through that much beer at that ABV point in one sitting? I mean, it basically is either saying, look, you're either going to have to kill yourself drinking this whole bottle, or you're going to have 3 or 4 friends over every time you have this beer.
Sharing.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's a fine and everything, but there are those times when people are just like, I want a nightcap. It's a winter day. I want 12 ounces of beer. And for those days, you had a BCBS, which was just ready to go. It was 12 ounces of beer. You had it in your snifter, it was your whole drink for the night and you were done. The bomber, it's like, oh my God, I've got like 3 nights of beer here. It's just insane.
You make a very good point there. Thinking about it, yeah, a lot of the bigger beers available in bombers here in Texas, you're starting to see them available in 6-packs and things like that. So I kind of get that. I never really thought of it before because I'll drink a beer, whether it be a 12 ounce, a 22 ounce, or a Magnum. I'll drink it. But yeah, I enjoy it in smaller packages, just like they did with the Enjoy Buy from Stone. They started doing it in 6-packs rather than just bombers. It makes a lot of sense because that way you don't have to buy a shit ton of bombers and be like, all right, you just buy a 6-pack. It's like you're good. All your friends can enjoy. And
yeah, absolutely. No, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it makes sense cellaring too, because it's a lot easier to cellar 12-ounce bottles than it is 22-ounce bottles. You can fit a lot more of them in there, man. That's the way it is.
I just think, I mean, it was a great way for the breweries to be making more money. It's obviously a better price point for them, profit-wise. So I get why they were doing it for a while, but I just think consumers are getting a little, like I said, a little tired of it. So
it does give you the option to buy something for a $7 bomber may not be the same as on a per ounce basis, but if you just want to go spend $7, like maybe I don't want a 6-pack. I only that gives you another option to say, all right, well I'll pay $7 to have something that in a 6-pack might be $12.99, or maybe $11.99 if I'm doing my math a little better, but. It gives you a secondary option where, they make more money, but you're given another price point, another option to try stuff.
Right. And also, I mean, a bomber serves its purpose for like occasion. If you're going out to dinner to like a BYOB place, rather than having like a 6-pack in your hand while you're walking in a restaurant, it not only looks better, it's almost like you've got a bottle of wine, but it's like, you're only having a couple beers with dinner and you're not taking anything home with you, and it's not not much of a hassle. So it serves.
Sometimes it's nice to have all the options. If in some theoretical big warehouse store every beer I wanted was available in every size possible, it would be nice. I could pick and choose. Some days I might have one. Sometimes I get an 8-pack.
It's getting to the point where like you're getting almost any option for some beers. Like I'm seeing. Like the Sculpin now is available in bombers. It's also available in 6-pack bottles and 6-pack cans now. It's like whatever you want, you've got it. It's kind of crazy.
Production-wise, I think it's probably the fact that it's cheaper to do bombers.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you're in a production brewery, it's always cheaper to do the any vessel in which it's larger. You have to spend less time filling more beer. It's like doing a whole keg versus a half keg or a sixth of a keg. The larger the vessel, the cheaper it is to make.
Yeah, that works for any food.
Yeah.
So I guess production wise you can break it down like that, but it's getting to the point to where the cost of canning and bottling equipment is going down because of the popularity of craft brew. So I can see how it's at this point it's more of a choice for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So Skylar, you haven't been with us in a while, so I'm going to give you the option. Throw me a style here, and I'm going to add it to the list. If it's on there, I'll let you know.
Bring a beer and a crowler.
Anything above 3%.
Hey now.
Let's do, and I don't know if this is already in the list, but I mean, it is August. We've got a few months. Either pumpkin beer or October.
Yes. I knew. I was totally saying pumpkin beer in my head.
We never had a fall beer on the show because we don't think to put it on until mid-September when they're stopped shipping them.
Well, I mean, they're shipping them now.
Oh yeah, they're out.
You know what's
You're out.
hilarious is that there's still pumpkin beer from last year on shelves around
Yeah,
town.
when you buy it, make sure
Well,
it
you
doesn't
know
have
what
dust on
pumpkin
it.
beer ages
Exactly.
well.
Oh, there, it better.
What's funny is I remember I think Skylar was the one who added Death Label like around the fall last year.
Yeah.
We just got around to it like a month or so ago. All right.
Oh my god. Too funny.
All right, pumpkin beer is added. Oh, come on. All right, this thing's been my Wi-Fi has been a pain in the ass this whole show. Every time I try to like get to a new site, so let me refresh the Wi-Fi really quick on this, and we'll get it started. What was that?
Nothing. That was me.
Okay.
Sorry. It just seemed to be the thing to say. I don't know what.
All right, if this doesn't work one more time, I'm gonna do it on my phone.
You can, like,
You see, it is being fresh. Just give it a slat.
Crescent fresh.
All right. All right. We're gonna do this on my phone now.
Spin that wheel.
It actually shows up better, I think.
Yeah, I know, right? What are we landing on? Oh, barley wine.
Barley wine.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It's the perfect summer beer.
That's all right. I love barley wine.
We're
I'm
gonna
excited
make
for it.
it the perfect summer beer.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, we will plan on having this show next Wednesday, but just to throw it out there, keep in mind I may or may not be available. I don't know if I'll be off to the hospital.
They have Wi-Fi at the hospital.
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, they do have Wi-Fi at the hospital. We'll see if my wife's okay with me doing the show and having a beer while she's, in between contractions and all.
Tell her to talk to me.
I want to thank our studio audience for participating. I like this. You need to do this more often. If you're not on, Skylar, Dan, this is your new job.
Great.
I didn't even know when he put the when he put the applause on the first time. I didn't even notice. It sounded so natural.
I just can't stop.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week with barley wines. Cheers.
Cheers.